Hey everyone, and welcome back to another ARK Ascended mod spotlight. Today I'll be checking out the new and improved ARK Edition's Archelon by Garuga. The Archelon has received a massive TLC, so its model's been completely redesigned. It's got a brand new saddle, which also has its own new utilities. I think the overall niche for the Archelon is pretty much the same, but otherwise, fun fact, even though I think it's one of Garuga's oldest mods, I've actually never tamed an Archelon. So just like any other video, this will be my first impressions of taming, of seeing it, of using it, alongside a bit of a bonus look into one aspect of its actual development. So then, just like any other video, let us try and find an Archelon first. So them being, the big turtle, should be anywhere in the ocean, and I am of course on the center, same as usual. So let me quickly check one thing actually regarding the Archelon. The saddle's at level 45, okay, and a baryonyx is 49. Fair enough. So if I was to be doing this out in, a regular playthrough, I think a baryonyx is what I would typically use by now to try find an Archelon, but say, a passive tame. Oh, there we go, I definitely see a couple over there. And also the jellyfish helps, get attacked by a whole bunch of sharks. Okay, there's two Archelon here. We have two Megalodon and a Ziff. What level are the Archelon? Level 60, level 55, and I don't want to attack them, but I'm gonna have to, get involved here and at least kill these lot. Not the jellyfish! Well, I would like to use that to actually, team them with, but hopefully it'll spawn, new ones soon. Oh god. So 130 Ziff and a level 50 Megalodon, but the Archelon seem to be doing quite a decent job of fighting it themselves. Or now that they're separated, I can actually really help. Oh, and there's an Alpha Megalodon. That is just my luck. So, while the Ziff is almost about dead, one thing you might have noticed is that this Archelon here actually has a Megatherium buff. So, I'm not sure if this was ever a thing in the original game, or the previous version of the mod, I should say. I'm not sure if that's a thing before, but currently, if a Archelon gets to harvest a cnidaria, they actually get the Megatherium buff, so similar stats, similar empowerment, which I gotta say is really cool, and kind of terrifying. It happens in the wild, so I'm very curious. Are they aggressive because they're Megatherium buffed? That is the thing, Megatheriums do get aggressive. These guys seem to be aggressive as well, but that could also be because I did hit them more than a couple of times. I was trying to help, but it wasn't particularly clean. Okay, after a long and very miserable fight, this Archelon's finally defeated everything around it. I've tried to help as much as I can, but I kept on aggroing it as well. Level 60. Okay, I think things are finally calm now, but the issue is, though, that there is no jellyfish now. That doesn't quite seem like that behaved as intended with how much it was aggroing and attacking things. A little bit concerned, but nonetheless, yeah, I think that one finally stopped attacking as well. This is another freaking Ziff! I gotta hate those things. Right, there's no jellyfish here. That's a problem. Okay, well, it's a shame I have to do this, but I'm just gonna go ahead then and spawn in some jellies. There you go, because they're supposed to spawn around. The wild Archelon. It's not happening this time for whatever reason. Please stop, sir. There we go. And so I should just be able to passive feed into the Archelon just like so. Hopefully it doesn't swim too far out my range. Come here, please. And put taming food in the last food slot. Oh wait, hold on. Is it the bile I need? Is it just the biotoxin? Give me a second. Come here, come here. Oh yeah, it's just a biotoxin tame. Oh, that's a lot easier. Oh, that's so much easier. Okay, thank goodness then. Alright, so they are just quite simple. Can I stand on you? Ooh. Wait. Oh. I don't think you can stand on them. Fair enough then. Oh, this is going to be a pain with like all the Megalodons and gajillion Ziffs. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Megalodon right there. Damn it. In that short time I took to kill the Megalodon, I can feed it again. Oh, fantastic. So these are not long at all. Level 60 on times 1 taming, doing about, what's that, 7-8% per biotoxin? Not bad, not bad. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a very quick passive tame. Oh, thank goodness. So, as much of a hassle it was to kill everything around and get the area safe, is that a normal Karos right there? Hold on. Oh, it certainly is. Anyway, yeah, so as long as it takes to clear the area out to make sure it's safe, once the taming begins, it actually is relatively quickly. If I can keep on talking long enough so that maybe we can see the second feed all in one go, or it's more like fourth feed by now actually. Yep, there you go. Yeah, nice and fast-ish. 30%. As far as passive tames go, this is definitely on the faster side. So, while we do wait around taming this, now would be a good time to talk a bit about the changes to the Archelon between the previous version and this new TLC version. So, like I mentioned, yeah, new model, new saddles, a bit more utility. The algae that the Archelon produces will now grow in its shell instead of in its inventory. At least I assume it was in its inventory. Like I said, I've actually never played the Archelon before. I'm so sorry. So I think it produced in the inventory before. This time it's quite different, and I look forward to really showing that. It's really, really cool how Garuga has implemented the new algae system. Meanwhile, the stats have been adjusted because this is going to be an official creature. One of the major reasons that Garuga has done his great big TLC is because the Archelon, this very creature here, is going to be put into the official base game vanilla for everyone. So, some of the stat changes he has made to prepare players for said official variants is that the base health has been decreased from 2,250 down to 1,400. So that is quite a large dip in base health. Though bearing in mind that ocean creatures tend to have very busted HP pools anyway, but even then still it's quite a substantial nerf. Oh, I'm a bit scared of that Anomalocaris over there. Another stat change is that the base food has been decreased from 10,000 to 3,500, and a reason for that as well is that the food stat does actually help algae production. So by nerfing the amount of algae, or nerfing the amount of base food it has, also nerfs its initial production unless you level further into it. And another stat change is that the base weight has been decreased from 1,200 down to 1,000. So what's worth mentioning is that, yeah, again, these seem like very big changes, again, to prepare it for official. Garuga has pointed out that the Archelon was already quite strong as it was. So in his words, Jesus! Okay. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. So in Garuga's words, this takes the Archelon down from from a god to a demigod basically. And yes, I am in infinite stats because I didn't want to freeze to death. Hey, at least it followed me. That's very kind. Wow, look at you. Did you lose any taming? Oh, you lost all of your taming. Okay. Now, on top of all of that, the base damage reduction and base damage dealt have also been slightly reduced. Can't really give you numbers, just the fact that they're now slightly reduced, all to make more sense and to feel more vanilla. You know, considering how messy things were just a moment ago, it is remarkably chill in the ocean now. But having said that, I do fear I'm gonna jinx it, something's gonna come over and muck up my Archelon's taming affinity, but so far, it's been quite nice and chill. I see that manta, I'm gonna go for that manta. Alright, and this should be the final feed, and there is our very own tamed Archelon. So like I said earlier, the saddle is obtainable level 45. It costs metal, fibre, hide and wood. Quite an expensive saddle actually. But for good reason though, because it is quite the chonker. Oh, that is weird to see in-game. So, I made this saddle. But we'll get into that in a bit. This is more about the Archelon, not just about the saddle, but it is. Oh my god, it is weird seeing that in-game. Oh my god. Okay, we'll get into that more in a moment. So, one nice, really, really nice new thing regarding the Archelon in general is that its rotational movement, its just ability to traverse, you know, a non or zero gravity area is so much better. Just in every aspect, actually. Not only as a ridden creature, but you may have noticed it's just generally turning better in the wild as well. These guys have so much better movements, and one thing that's quite nice as well is that, you know, when you turn a creature in ARK, when you're riding you turn it, and so you're doing a curve, and when you straighten out, it just kind of becomes rigid, and you can really see like where the animation changes between, you know, turn to straight. I'm not sure the technical terminology here, but Garuga's done something that improves that turning so that now when it straightens out, it feels so much more natural, kind of curves into it, it just feels good. And again, it's noticeable in wild ones as well. Quickly kill these piranha. So this is our left click damage. Like I said earlier, the general base melee has been slightly nerfed. That is our left click, which is, you know, decent enough. I love the way the head, it kind of like comes out a little bit, and then when it reverts back in, the neck just gets a little bit chubby. I mean, it's a turtle is what it should do, right? But I love how it's actually captured that. Any right clicks? No. Oh, wait. No. C, yeah, of course, C is going down. X, no. So these guys are all about the resources they produce, as well as the fact that they are themselves a fairly tanky creature. They do take reduced damage, you've got very high HP and very high weight, even post-nerf. Their saddle, as you can see, their saddle actually has 4 passenger slots, including the player itself. So the player is in the middle, lying down, prone, and it's got the 4 different four different seats. And altogether this means that not only can it carry up to 5 players at a time, and again, bearing in mind it's got a good weight stat to facilitate it as well. Big pet peeve of mine is when creatures can allow passengers but have no weight stat, cough galley. So it allows for that, but also proximity to the Archelon means that its saddle grants you oxygen as well. Is it also like just being generally nearby? Okay, so now my oxygen is going down. We're a little bit closer now. Still going down. A little bit closer still. And now, yep, it's fully recharged. So you just got to be near it as well as, you know, actually mounted onto it. Ah, that's so cool. Again, I cannot get over just how good it feels just to move around. So there is 2 more things for the Archelon. Or actually 3 in a way. So this is again another feature from, you know, before that is carried over. These guys do in fact go onto land. And I spent a long time watching Garuga livestream all these animations. It's really fascinating seeing it in game now. This is really, really cool to see. Oh, dude, look at him. He's just moving. He's going, dude. And again, turning feels, I mean, it feels responsive. It feels, dare I say, even realistic, to be honest. Or at least, you know, what you'd expect out of a big sea creature like this. Now then, one neat thing is that these guys produce algae. Now, I think in the past they had it in their inventory, whereas this time around, if you look carefully, you'll actually notice it is slowly generating algae on its shell. The entire creature is slowly getting covered in this. Now, if I go ahead and open up the, you know, the radial menu, collect algae, 1 algae, it's going to be 2 hours until the algae is fully grown. If I collect that now, okay, there was a bit of a change. So if I go ahead then and just do, you know, creative mode for a bit, gonna set you on passive, and we're just going to go ahead then and slow-mo 100. And we should be able to notice a gradual coverage of algae. But it is currently 2 hours, so I guess whenever Garuga did it in a dev key, and it like very sped up. Whereas this time around, you can slowly see it on the side of the shell there, above the shoulder and a bit right on the shoulder as well. In fact, on the flipper itself, you can just see it slowly appear. Wow, dude, leave, go, thank you. It's highly amusing watching creatures wander around with slow-mo 100 enabled. Dude, that Anotho's going. Oh my god, look at it. Oh, and that parasol too. This bloody game. Okay, so it's officially been 2 in-game hours, and as you can see, the Archelon is pretty damn covered in algae, and it looks really cool, doesn't it? Like, he's done such a good job with it. So, unfortunately, I am again lacking the proper terminology and, like, how exactly Garuga's done this, but essentially, I think it's meant to be like an additive material or an additive effect that covers the entire creature. I think procedurally, I believe, I'm not entirely sure on that part, but what's quite neat is that it doesn't affect the saddle though. The saddle still remains clean over on top. It looks so cool. So, now that it's been 2 hours, if we go ahead then and just mouse over this, we can now collect 12 algae, which we've now done, and as you can see, it's just removed all of the algae, and now our Archelon is nice and clean again. I cannot get over just how good his face looks. You look absolutely wonderful. For those wondering, by the way, some of you might have noticed that this isn't how the prehistoric Archelon actually looked. Garuga is aware of this. He mentioned, or at least throughout the live streams, he said that the previous version of the Archelon did look more like a realistic Archelon where it had that hooked beak. And that is what Archelons did have, as a hooked beak. But I think a lot of us could agree it did look quite derpy. And, you know, if creatures like a Margosaurus and Megachelon are anything to go by, sometimes having goofy looking ugly creatures aren't particularly enjoyed. So Garuga for this one did go with a sea turtle vibe instead. I'm not sure if that's his actual reasoning, that's my take on this. I prefer the sea turtle vibe, but just to say this is an intended design choice. He went more sea turtle, less Archelon, for the Archelon creature. But moving on, that algae. What is this algae even good for? Most wild herbivores love this stuff. This is the mutton equivalent for herbivore food. This is twice as more effective than vegetables or crops in this game. So finally, you have that. And in addition to that, so as you can see, it stacks up a bit. It's got a 20-minute spawn time. With the algae, you can then also create, I think it's, yeah, Algae Sushi. Incredibly nutritious sushi that any diner will love. Use this on a taming diner to boost some lost taming effectiveness. But where did the rice come from? So as you can see, that requires 20 algae, 3 raw prime fish meat, 10 long grass, and some white colouring. Indeed, where did the rice come from? Now, this is meant to restore about 10% taming effectiveness on any, work in progress tame. I say about 10% because the math on taming effectiveness is very strange. It's supposed to be around 10% with a 5-minute cooldown, and it is a kibble base, which means that any creature will eat it, but it will not do any taming affinity. It will only restore taming effectiveness. So you can't tame using this, but it can help your tames by using this. And that's what helps make the Archelon just so useful. Not to mention the fact that, again, it's good for cargo, it's good for tanking, it's got the, the 5 saddle oxygen benefit, which is really, really nice. Yeah, and overall, it just looks wonderful. Like, yay, giant turtles in the game. Carbonemys suck. And I know the Archelon's always been a creature, but at least for me personally, the oceans in this game have always sucked dick. So now that the oceans in ASA are finally getting good with all these various mods, the Archelon is just another welcomed addition, which I'm definitely going to be using myself in the future. And it just looks so good. I love how it looks now. So, obligatory saddle. I did mention the saddle. It's so weird seeing this in game. It is fascinating seeing this in game. So like I said, I made this. It was a team effort between me and Loki that Garuga had requested of us, which, gotta say, wow, amazing. And it is weird to think that this is going to be an official base game. I cannot get over that. For those curious, this is my first saddle I've made for Garuga. Like I said, it was a team effort between me and Loki. We are also the Paleo ARK saddle makers as well. And I made the entirety of the model. Obviously the Archelon is Garuga's work, obviously. But yeah, I made the entire mesh of the saddle itself. So all the big curves, the straps, the details, also the leather texturing as well, since it was meant to be like predominantly leathered or leathered textured. I've done all that high poly as well. For anyone curious regarding this, the hardest part was actually getting the back seats to line up, because originally in Charizard's concept art, which was really amazing and thoroughly in depth, he did some amazing diagrams of how everything should line up, but unfortunately sometimes translating from 2D to 3D can have a couple of problems in the case of this, where these back seats were supposed to be completely they were supposed to be completely parallel to the front seats, but that just wasn't happening because of the way it was curving, or lack of curving here. So that was really the only tricky part in the end, was just trying to make sure that it kept the overall vibe that Charizard had conceptualized, while still giving space for the human rider in the middle there. That was very important, but also giving space like to potentially walk around on top of, or just make things look plausible. I just realised the tanks are missing. Yep, there you go. There's the tanks. Loki did all of the retop. She's the one that made it actually work in-game and not to like you out like it currently is right here. I did the high poly leather textures, while Loki did all the metals, the colours, the materials, and again, just making it functionally work as a gameplay asset. And wow, seeing it all come together in-game is an entirely different story. It is, oh dude, it is so weird. Like, you really see like all the leather there. It's a little bit low res compared to the model, but that's just how it is with games sometimes. It's still pretty damn good, all things considering. I mean, what is that like compared to vanilla saddles, for example? And all the creases as well. Oh my god. I'm sorry, this is all Garuga's hard work, and I'm just sitting here falling over the saddle. No, the creature is amazing. I absolutely love the brand new Archelon. I think this has gone through 2, maybe even 3 revisions now. Like, there's been like 3 or 4 different variants of the Archelon throughout. All of the arcs have all evolved in the ARK ASA. So, yeah, no, Garuga's been touching this up a lot, and this is by far my favourite. It looks amazing. Like, the quality of the scales. Like, my god, those flippers, for example, look absolutely incredible. As an artist, I adore this. Not to mention again that as a general ARK creature, again, it's just a fantastic addition. I will also say that it is nice to have a creature where the utility is simply the utility, it doesn't have a gajillion attacks and, you know, all those other things. How the creature itself is kind of just a creature, there's not really a lot to it, just melee hits, and that's kind of it. And it's the items it produces that really makes this creature, you know, very, very worthwhile, because a mutton equivalent of herbivore food was absolutely necessary, and the ability to regain taming effectiveness is very, very nice, especially considering that ocean tames in general aren't particularly easy to get. Yeah, it's an easy passive tame, but you still got to prepare yourself all the way there, so it's not like it's a free tame, you're still going to put a bit of work in to get a very good reward. And I'm very curious to see if Wildcard will keep the, I think they'll keep the algae, but I'm curious to see if they will keep the sushi as well. I hope they do. I think the sushi is a very nice addition, but the algae 100% needs to stay. I'd be so shocked if they got rid of that. But we shall wait and see. We shall wait and see for when this guy comes to official, but in the meantime, enjoy the modded version, which is so cool. Really, really well done. And yeah, I think that's about it really. So thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the ramble and a bit of an unusual insight into a couple of things. And as always, I'll see you all again next time. So take care, have a wonderful day. Cheers.